Perhaps as important as anything about being an effective leader is one's ability to connect with other people. This may not have been a top priority in the past, but in today's world, where organizations are flatter and more connected, it becomes critical to be able to relate to the people in your organization. Not just the people on the top team, but everybody in the organization at some level. The operative word here is relational as opposed to transactional. And I highlight that because in today's world of transactions and fast-moving business deals, it's often easy to overlook the interpersonal side of things, but it's very, very important. What I'd like to do in the next several minutes is to share with you what it looks like to connect with somebody. And let's start with a simple one-on-one conversation. What might it look like for that connection between two people to be maximized? The first thing I do is remove any physical barriers between me and my conversational partner, like a desk. And the second thing I do is turn off my phone. Related to that is to be aware that this relational space that you're trying to cultivate is a lot like cultivating a garden. Much like a garden needs water and fertilizer and sunshine, that relational space is cultivated with open communication, transparency, trust, and commitment. Those are the ingredients that make relationships flourish. Now, conversations are always difficult because there's usually 3 conversations going on at the same time. The first is my conversation with you about whatever topic we're having a dialogue about. But I'm aware that at the same time I've got this inner voice, this inner critic in my head, so to speak, that is always judging me and judging what you're saying. And I'm not sure I agree with him. I think I might be right. And there's probably a third conversation, which is something like, oh, I can't forget to do this, or oh, I've got so much work to do, I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. So it may be impossible to have a 100% fully connected conversation, but we can learn to become extremely effective. Let's say I'm having a conversation with you. How do I foster that conversation? How do I get the most out of that conversation? Well, the first thing I'm aware of is, how am I occurring for you? I'm occurring for you. You can't help but interpret the way I'm showing up. By the way, this is extremely important for physicians taking care of patients, because patients don't speak the language of medicine. So you want to be constantly attuned to, am I showing up for my patient as caring? Am I showing up as present, as personable, as warm? Or am I showing up as distracted, distant, cold? You'll get a sense of that if you pay attention to the dynamics of the conversation. But the second question, which is equally important, is I pay attention to how you are experiencing yourself during this conversation. Because one of my goals is to leave you with a sense of empowerment as a consequence of the conversation. There's something about great leaders, and it's related to their ability to be present with others, that leaves people energized and sometimes capable of the astounding.